what happens when you bury your food scraps in your raised garden bed. So today I'm going to show you a little experiment, a design of experiments. Since I have a little bit of knowledge in statistics, let's see if we can design a little experiment to bury food scraps and see how the plants will grow with or without it. Welcome to self-sufficient urban gardening. I'm going to get my food scraps from this week and I'm going to bury it right here just by my okra. This okra here is not doing very well. It's growing very slowly, and the little okra that I have growing here are really small. So I'm gonna see if burying my food scraps here, the worms will take all the nutrients around and give some of the nutrients to the plants. I'm going to try to avoid putting the food scraps too close to the roots of the okra, so I don't want to burn the roots of the okra. So you have to leave at least maybe a foot at least or so from the place where you think the roots are to where you put your compost, so the heat that is generated by the decomposing process doesn't really kill the roots of your plants. I'm also noticing that a little bit, maybe a foot from my okra where I'm digging here, the soil is really dry. And that's because here in California we are in a drought, and I'm trying to give my plants as little water as possible to have them survive. But I guess as I'm looking here, I need to put some more water. But you know, California is in a pretty bad dry sprout. So let's see. Here are my food scraps, and I'm gonna bury them right here, and I'm going to put some soil on top of it, and I'm going to water it to make it moist so that the little bugs that will eat the compost and the worms won't be looking at such a dry soil. I'm also going to cover with my wood chips to prevent the moisture from evaporating too fast. And today, just because I'm not planting anything right here right now, I'm also going to cover it with this pot just to prevent the sun from hitting it again, evaporating the water too much. But this will let the air in, and there is enough air for the decomposing process to continue. Before I show you what I'm going to do, let me show you what is happening and the results of my previous experiment. So you can see here I have my okra, and it's really small, and the okra that are growing here are also really small. And the reason why this experiment is telling me what's happening with my compost is because I know that in this area where I planted this okra here, I composted only a couple of times, and the soil here does not have a lot of nutrients. So that those food scraps that I buried in my raised garden beds over there, and I'm just going to show you in a second, will tell you how big of a difference it makes to your okra plants or any other plants, especially squash. You can see my squash, actually you can't see because it's under here. My squash plants are really big on this side, and on the other side they're so small and they're dying. So let me show you the difference between, look at this okra and also look at this squash plant, which is grown everywhere actually, even down here near my foot. So let me show you the other side where the squash is small and the okra is big. Here is where I have my squash under this little shade, but if you can see it, it's really sad. There's only a couple of leaves here and there, and actually there's no fruit in it because, again, in this raised garden bed here, I barely composted, maybe once. So there's not a lot of nutrients here, therefore this squash is really sad. However, here on the side of the house where I have this raised garden bed, where this grass keeps growing and I just can't get rid of it because this type of grass is just very invasive. Anyway, you can see how this okra plant is doing much better. Look at the size of the leaf. So these are much bigger plants. They grew much faster because I composted here several times, and I have a few okra plants growing here, and I've already got a few okra that we're gonna cook today. So you see the difference that composting in your raised garden bed makes. Your plants grow much faster with all the nutrients. Even here in the front of my house, I have this okra growing that actually looks even better than those. In here, I composted also several times. So this is just to show you what big difference it makes if you compost in your raised garden bed. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel and enjoy your garden.